So, Celeste, you've had a busy week, huh?
Yeah, it's been a week for sure. One of the best weeks I've had in a really long time.
Best in, and you've had highs and lows, and I think it starts off not too long ago, back at the tail end of December, when you announced that you had done a makeshift campaign for a little plush of your model. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reached out to by Makeshift kind of middle of December, and they were like, oh, you can like late December get this started, and I was so excited because I had applied with them actually over the summer, and I was not expecting for them to reach out to me and be like, here you go, we want to work with you.
That's awesome. So this is a company that that they create plushies. That's kind of their gimmick or their business model. And you saw a lot of success over here. You were kicking butt, and you actually did get did you hit your goal?
Yeah, it was a lot of work. I'm a small creator. These kind of projects are really difficult to get the community together because it can be expensive, and I never want to put my community in a place where they have to choose between eating or funding a project of mine. But they came through, and the last 3 days I was gonna do like 24-hour streams for 3 days straight. But I think I streamed maybe anywhere between like 8 to 10 hours for those last 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
and it just felt like the rug was pulled underneath. It was like 2 months of working with them, and now it just became an issue.
Right. So you were you hit your goal, and then you said on January 6th, you said this is what happened. You put that. You said, well, I'll let you read this in your own words. This was just a few days ago on February 10th. You had an announcement. So why don't you give everybody a quick rundown on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, you wanted me to read it, right?
Well,
Like
yeah,
verbatim.
just the quick. You can read it, or you can just tell us a quick, brief overview of what happened.
Yeah, basically to summarize, I was actually in the middle of work when I got this message from Makeshift, and they said that they would not be going ahead with the campaign. I don't know what tweets they flagged or whatever, but this had not been a problem for 2 months, and they said, you violated our community guidelines or creator guidelines, and we're not going to be working with you anymore. No more information outside of that. And I tried reaching out, and nothing, not a peep from them.
So you did reach out. They said that they were going to cancel the campaign because, in their words, you violated their creator code of conduct. Right?
Hmm.
Do you have any idea? They didn't tell you anything about why. They didn't give you any examples. They just straight up canceled it.
Yeah, pretty much. The only information that they gave me is that I targeted a specific group somehow. I'm not really sure how much I can really share, but I'm sure we can put two and two together with today's social climate, what group that may be. And
Mm-hmm.
no, not a single tweet, nothing, not even a warning. Just you targeted a group and that's it.
This and once again, they reach out to you, correct?
Yes.
They
Hmm.
reached out to you initially. They knew who you were initially. Had you said anything against this specific group that you're alluding to, that you're assuming they're talking about, right? Just
Hmm.
saying this protected class, if you will. Um, but had you said anything about this protected class prior to them reaching out to you?
I've only been honest about my beliefs from the start. From a religious standpoint, I'm a Christian, and we hold certain beliefs. And, I don't hate anybody, but I am going to be honest based on what's going on. From a biblical perspective, that it's wrong, but never hate a person, never go after them, never tear them apart. And so, I mean, they would have to like, I'm sure, like stretch it to think that it was like a hate comment or something. And I genuinely believe that it was reported, but I have no evidence. So this is just all speculation on my point as of right now.
So you think somebody flagged your stuff and they went to them and they more or less tattled on you?
Yeah, more or less, I believe so. Because again, for 2 months, I was working with them. We got the campaign launched. Okay, they reached out to me, so I would hope that they did their research on me before reaching out. And again, we got it. We funded it over 200. You know, 10 days advertising almost every single day. And, you know, yeah, I'm going to share my beliefs, but I've been pretty respectful. So, um, it was really difficult, to be honest. I feel like as a Christian, I can't be truly honest about what it is I believe, and seeing the evils of this earth and pointing it out because of, God forbid I hurt somebody's feelings. It comes back to bite me, So it
Right.
was really
Well,
heartbreaking.
well, I went through the makeshift code of conduct here. I asked ChatGPT to see if it actually says anything about protected people I'm guessing you're alluding to trans people here. It doesn't, and this is what ChatGPT says. The policy explicitly states that creators and their content must not demean, dehumanize, marginalize, use hateful language against, perpetuate negative stereotypes about, or belittle other users or groups, including categories such as gender identity. It also says makeshift, quote, welcomes diversity across a list of characteristics that includes gender identity and sexual orientation. I still don't quite understand the idea of why it's so important to let everybody know where your pee goes. Um, this is something that it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It never has, and it never will. Right? Like this idea of celebrating. You like butts or whatever.
They
Yeah.
welcome diversity, but only pre-approved types of diversity.
Yeah, if you don't
Right.
align with their mindset, you're the black sheep to them.
Right. So they canceled your campaign. They got it done. They outed you, and obviously this is a situation that we've had Rev and Straub on the show. Rev actually came to your back immediately. Rev recently dropped from his drink deal, and he was posted over on X. Sorry this happened to you and your community. I'm confident more opportunities will present themselves soon enough. Unfortunately, they already did this to me and Straub about a year ago, and then I'm guessing this is the same company here. This is no longer some sort of one-off moment. Now it's a pattern. They have made their company a reflection of their personal ideologies. Big mistake here. Like I said, we saw this with Rev and Straub. Straub came back, just an L for makeshift over here. Have they said anything publicly about this at all?
No, they haven't actually, and I don't know if they ever will. I'm a small creator, so they can throw me into the trash bin, and they wouldn't think about me ever again. So I doubt that they're gonna make a public statement. I'll be really surprised if they do. But speaking about Rev and Straub, actually last night Rev had uploaded a video, and I was streaming and happened to watch it. I was choke it up a little bit because both of them have been really sweet to me. And when Advance dropped them, I immediately left because I would rather stand by my friends and my principles than ever bend the knee to these people that would drop me at the really quickly.
Atta girl.
Hell yeah, let's go. Well, Leaflet quote tweeted your response. Your post about this just said they hate us, which it doesn't seem very accepting to me, does it?
No, not at all. Honestly, they do, and she's been a super big sweetheart this entire time. I'm sure you're gonna. I don't know how much she told you about our plans, but I'm really excited to be working with her going forward.
Well, why don't you talk a little about that? Because I think what's happening is exactly what needs to happen, and that is creating an alternative here.
Yeah, absolutely. She actually backed the project, and she has backed other people's projects before, who were really good friends of hers, and they even reached out to her apparently to work with her, and she said no. And once I got the news, she was one of the first people that I told, and she got really angry at the fact that they did that. She actually did a reaction video too. So what we're going to be doing is a FUMO. She's released a couple, and they're really detailed. They're big and super adorable. So I'm really excited. She already put money towards the prototype and the design. I won't spoil which outfit it is, but I did do a poll to see what the interest was for people. Either my ice-inspired outfit, my military outfit, my office lady outfit, or my original, like the makeshift one. But I'm not gonna say which one it is.
I think it's really important, and it's great that Leaf has kind of stepped up in this situation. When we talk about this all the time, Phoenix, the idea of creating alternatives and look, this makeshift company, this was a big mistake because what it's done is it's lit a fire under not just Celeste but Leaf, and saying, hey, well, why don't we take this and scale it? Because I know Leaf, we've talked about this privately, Leaf and I, and I think she has total interest in taking this idea and scaling it up, and that stuff needs to happen because we are in the process of creating parallel economies, one that sides with insanity, and that, by the way, has a massive install base, and then another one that believes in reality that has to start from scratch, and that is Phoenix, you talk about this all the time, having to sacrifice to get things going. But ultimately, in a situation like this, it's very important that people support campaigns. If you guys do launch any sort of campaign, Celeste, it has to be supported, and it can't take 2 months. It has to take 2 days. It has to be immediate, and to show them that, man, we ain't doing this nonsense. And we see this with like Eric July, right? Eric July's like, I'm just gonna make some comics, and he is attacked consistently about just creating an alternative. You got to put on your bulletproof vest if you're gonna go to war, and that's where we're at now. And I don't, we have a pretty good idea of how we at Side Scrollers tie into this thing. I mean, I think the natural thought process is probably video games and content, right? Games just take a long time to produce. So,
The good thing though is like the brave few that step up and make that sacrifice and go out there and try to create something new, whatever that is, a store, a movie, whatever it is, entertainment. The good news is that you will soon, it won't be long. You're not going to be alone for long, because that's going to inspire a wave of other people to do it, because everyone here is just on the side of normalcy. We're all just waiting for someone to do something, if we're not getting off our own ass, then we're just waiting to see someone. And then the minute they do see it, it's going to inspire, you know what, hell, I'm going to start that business. I'm going to start this, and this. So the brave that step up, you're going to be rewarded. It's a guarantee. And you're also going to be the first to the market. And people are going to remember that. So I do believe it will be rewarded if you've got the cojones, if you will, to do
Los
it.
cojones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting anybody here.
This is you, baby. Let's go.
I know Gen Z, for the most part, like very liberal, hippie, peace, love, whatever. But I think I'm one of the fewer older Gen Z who have seen, the millennials get really, and pardon my French here, screwed over by these ideologies. And I think,
Whoa, Celeste, relax with the language, okay?
oh my bad, I'll put the coin in the swear jar. My bad. And so I definitely believe that there is a group of us that are trying to fight back. So I want to stand with all of you and fight against this culture war, because enough is enough, and my generation has there's too much nonsense, too much.
I think for us, the biggest thing is we really need to figure out what that looks like for us. Just that's a me, Phoenix, and Blabs discussion. Like where are we truly going to go? Because we talk about content all the time, and we're going to make content. Like that's a big part of what we're doing. But what more can we do? And maybe it's something where like we partner with established creators to create these things. Maybe we help Leaflet get this off the ground. Leaflet guides the ship. We're just there from maybe a financial perspective or promotional perspective. But the reality is that we do need to work together. Like the idea of like one-offs. We are much stronger if we work together instead of a bunch of different tentacles all kind of doing their own thing here. So yeah, I see the idea of like doing a convention. Like, dude, listen, we've talked about that. Conventions cost a ton of money. They cost so much money.
We could just like meet in the parking lot or something.
Right.
Me in the parking lot of Radio Shack.
Yeah.
I'd be so down. I would go wherever you guys do that, honestly.
So I've talked about this before. The last convention I did in 2014, I think, cost $250,000 to do. And that was a low end, like that was scraping the bottom barrel to get things to. And would you guys like to know how much revenue that event generated?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
$252,000. So
Wow,
we
that's
worked
a
for,
lot of sliders you could have bought there. That would have been great.
so we worked a year. And look, events are more like a marketing thing than they're not meant to generate a whole lot of revenue, right? But unless you're like a major company and get all these crazy sponsorships and stuff. But yeah, the event generated $2,000 for a year's worth of work. Now it created a lot of memories, and that stuff I would argue is almost as important. If you're building culture, those things are important. But that cost, mentioned specifically when it comes to conventions, has gone up dramatically since then. And the biggest cost, which says a lot about this, would probably be security. That's you get a bunch of people who are just common sense folks together. There's a lot of people who really do not like you that can show up and cause some harm pretty quick. And that's something that we've legitimately have to think about, which is scary and stupid that that's even a thought. So anyways, well, Celeste, I'm glad you are landing on your feet. And I'm sure that the campaign that you guys put together will be absolutely massive. And I can't wait to see it be successful.
Same here. It's going to be the biggest. Oh man, I can't say the word. It's going to be a really big punch in the face to make ship.
Let's go. Love that. You can say middle finger. It's okay. Just don't do it. Okay.
I don't have hands.
All right. I don't have any hands. What do you want me to do? Oh man, that's funny. Are you tired of all the nonsense? Yeah, you are. Hit the subscribe button right here and join us.